I have a friend who has the most incredible establishment. I call it. It's not a shop because it's such so many things, wonderful things, and it's really an oasis of beauty in the centre of Dublin City. And I often go in there in the afternoons, and there's a little couch behind the counter, and I sit there with a glass of wine and chat or observe the customers that have come in, and notice that the vast majority of them come in to buy engagement rings. And this sort of, with my my mind of wanting to know things, I looked up a brief history of engagement rings. Some say they went back to Grecian times, but more reliable reports state that they were the times of the Roman Empire, where women had rings to indicate, wait for it, ownership. Soviet times. And it would have sometimes two rings, one for outward show and one for doing the household chores. Servant, slaves, I should say, but anyway, that's what the Wikipedia says. And this continued on even through the Visigoths. It was sort of more than a contract of marriage. And they were relatively plain, from the point of view regarding precious gems. And it was in 1477 that Habsburg, the Archduke Maximilian, had a diamond inserted in a ring, which on his betrothal to Mary in Burgundy. And so the fashion continued obviously among the rich and the nobility, and that continued on down the centuries. But things began to change in the 19th century when De Beers discovered diamonds I think it was about 1866 in South Africa, and they were then recognized as being diamonds and being precious, more precious than before. And so it continued on. Then, they became more popular and more fashionable, even more fashionable. And then that continued on. But then the Great Depression in the 1930s caused a collapse, and apparently in the price of diamonds, and that made them more available for people with fewer means. And then apparently there was a sort of a bit of a slump, and De Beers again did quite a strong advertising campaign in the 1940s, and declared that diamonds were forever, preempting Marilyn Monroe, I imagine. Okay, very brief, but I found it interesting. Bye.